The range. A fun place to be. Right, obviously this is a live recording. Hopefully this will help kind of like alleviate a lot of the pressure of trying to get more recordings out, as well as videos. So, purpose of this video is to basically show everything wrong with the range. And there is a surprising amount. And we're going to start with just this side. These are basically the same, just at different range, just at different distances. And of the first issue, essentially, is the fact that even at like maximum accuracy, trying to hit things, sometimes on the far one, obviously, you just don't hit. This is a brand new character. I don't quite have an MMR, but if you want to see what I mean, just try and consistently get headshots on that back one at 50 meters, and you'll quite often see, maybe not quite often, but you should see on occasion, it just doesn't register anyway at all, which is kind of annoying. Next one, right? We have really just a normal Billy basic build here. The only point of note is we have 0% crit chance. So as long as we don't hit the head, or if we do hit the head, we continue to hit the head. We're going to be going for body. It's a bit easier to hit. We basically have no damage fluctuation. We have a static, stable weapon damage. Okay, we have no growing talents that increase the rate in which our talents go up. And we're only using, like, for damage talent, or talent really, we just have steady-handed, which just increases accuracy and the stability, not increasing our overall damage. So essentially, what I'm telling you is every damage number should be the same. That in mind, we are also using a good old bit of Dod-Foamath, and hopefully the kids outside will stop screaming, or I'll give them something to scream about. I'm joking. 900 RPM. The way in which we work out DPS is literally, it's events per second. So for 900 RPM, we need to convert this into RPS, rounds per second. So we do 900 divided by 60. This literally gives us 15. And then we times 15 times whatever our damage number would be, and that is our DPS. The amount of hits we do per second. That's it. It's literally all DPS essentially is. So our damage number is that. Obviously, I've got a few headshots in here, but that's at distance. So our damage number is 63436. And we can show this just by just continually shoot him. Bloody, bloody, blah. Have a good time. It doesn't change. It's always the same. Okay? Problem is, if we go over to like just a little bit of spreadsheeting, which hopefully is here we can see, hopefully, we'll just do it from the off actually, just to make it nice and easy. So we've got our RPM of 900. We'll zoom it in a little bit actually. We'll zoom it in. We've got 900, and then we're going to divide that by 60. There's our 15. That's our damage number, which hopefully you can see up here, is just typed in. So there's nothing funny going on here, but just to make sure, 63436. That's our damage number. And then here, all we literally do is, it doesn't actually matter what order we multiply these by, but times that by that, and it gives us 951540. As you can see, hopefully. Come back over to the division. Lay into this guy. Well, for a start, that's wrong. Secondly, due to the fact that we have no fluctuation, and I'm not too sure how the range wants to calculate things, but some RPMs do end up with being like, it'll be like 15.3, and we round it down to like 15. This is just an example, but potentially some of those fluctuations will be due to a decimal point. Effectively, with the way in which this is set up, there are no decimal points, which basically means that effectively, if this was to calculate DPS as it says it's doing, this should immediately, from the first shot, go to 951540. Watch it fluctuate. Hopefully if I can get it out. Yeah, it hasn't got a clue what it's doing. It hasn't got a clue. One, it's giving us the wrong result. Two, it's going all over the place. There's no reason for this to be doing it. What I'm telling you is this doesn't calculate DPS. I don't know what it's calculating, but it isn't calculating DPS. What about the left side of the range? Now, this is one that I see a lot of people utilize, and apparently this is like the better option for testing builds. Honestly, they are all as bad as each other. And the main reason that you kind of want to avoid this side is just quite simply, it's the same issue that we have with, well, any of the range. They're targets that don't shoot back. And if you're going to like use this side of the range along with like TTK as any form of metric for testing any build, then no build really just beats being able to do that and getting a 0.1 second time and saying, well, screw whatever idea anyone else actually has, because this just always wins no matter what. Here we have just a normal made up build. We're going to try and actually add a mod slot into this. We don't actually have the crit damage on. Yep, there we are. So Elmo's is at 60, 166, and then the F2000's at 60, 141. There's a clear difference in the crit damage. Elmo's has the 20 expertise. Obviously, this is a shield splinterer, but got no expertise whatsoever. Higher RPM, and at the moment, not as high a base damage because expertise, bloody blah. We're running vigilance and we're running glass cannon. I don't really have the pieces to actually make like a proper build on this, so this is a little bit on the wafty side. We could probably actually as well, if we just go for crit damage. Could be that's in the backpack. There we are. That's 60. They're both still at 60. That's awesome. So 60, 173, and 60, 153. All right, gonna aim for body shots only. Place your bets. What one wins? Tactical reload. Kill 2 ads. Moving on. $12.2. Right, that was the 2 reloads. Those 2 reload, those 2 reload, kill. Okay, because there's 2 there, and then that one and that one. What I'm going to do here with the F2000, just to prove a point on how this basically means fucking nothing, right? I'm going to do those 2, kill, and then reload. Those 2, reload, kill. So we're going to put 3 reloads in. So, you ready? 1, 2, reload 1. Reload 2. Reload 3. 14.4. Right? The other one was 12.2. Herein lies the problem now. See, if you were to like test this or like look at this, how others have potentially shown it, you would think, oh, Elmo's is the better one. I mean, obviously, if I actually just do it properly and don't put in that extra reload, you'll probably find that even in this sort of scenario, the F2000 is actually probably still better. But even if we forced in 12.2, basically the exact same. However, because we forced in the extra reload, you potentially would think that Elmo would be stronger here, right? So we've got the time it took to kill 6 enemies. Okay, they've still got 6 enemies. Okay, we've got the time 12.2 and 14.4. We did 2 reloads with Elmo's. Reload time is 1.8. We did 3 reloads with Shield Splinterer. Reload time is 2.1. This is our total time we spent reloading, which is 3.6 and 6.3. We then take that total time here minus this, so it just ends up being calculating in the time that we were doing damage. So time per target with Elmo is 1.43 seconds. Time per target with Shield Splinterer was 1.33. So even though this took longer, we still actually are killing our targets faster, which is something that people just don't want to register. All they care about is, I got a better time. So no matter how you want to look at it, potentially what you're looking at is not the result you're actually wanting. And then people are going, oh yeah, but this just means I'm able to kill more ads more quickly. I mean, that is true, right? But that's 6 elites, right? 6 elites in 12.2 seconds. Okay? We have a lovely spot right here. This spawns every single time. If you're going to test the build, this is where I suggest you go. So, we're here. We've got 1 elite. We've got an assault. We've got a drone lady. We've got a rusher there, I believe. That's a rusher. Yeah, that's a rusher. And on the far end, we've got a grenadier. There are 4 elites. Sometimes there's maybe a 5th. So, our previous time was 6 elites in 12.2 seconds. Let's find out. We don't actually have to worry about the Russia too much because she's going to run up on us. The real problem is going to be that Grenadier at the far end. However, I really want the droners. I hate droners. I have a passion for them. So, let's start the timer, shall we? That was not 12.2 seconds. That was actually longer. So yeah, using that side of the range as any metric as to how your build will perform at any point in the open world is a little bit idiotic and actually probably has the least amount of bearing on the overall performance of the game. Simply because you're then trying to track multiple enemies at one time. At least with the single shot thing, which I'm aware a lot of people disagree with. I disagree as well. But at least if I'm pinning an enemy, I can get a rough gauge on how quick I will kill you. Because it's one enemy at a time. Whereas that side of the left side of the range with multiple enemies is probably, I would argue, the worst way to actually gauge a metric on any build whatso freaking ever. Final part is this bit of the range. Now this is actually probably, I would actually argue, if you're going to say what part of the range is probably the most accurate to what you get in the actual world, this would probably be it. This one, because one, they're moving targets. Okay, they're not hitting back, but they at least have the movement part down, right? Secondly, if you're going to actually then use this as any form of metric, because things are moving, you will also probably likely gauge that burst DPS on this side of things is a lot more important than sustained, because ideally you'd want to burst him down during that movement there. Ideally, which sustained DPS isn't going to have any metric towards. So this basically becomes like a burst DPS as well as alpha damage sort of side of the range. This is also why it measures accuracy. So if I could just fire, I don't think it's actually going to register anything. So there are. Shots fired is 1, hits is 0. So all we've really got to do is just time our shots. So we fired 2 shots and we've hit 1 target. And it just keeps going up. So this is kind of like a little bit of an aim trainer, which is actually going to be quite helpful. So for those of you that are actually looking to improve your aim, this might not be a bad way to go, as well as it's also going to give you an idea as to how you perform on your build. So clearly on headshots I'm not too good, but if we then start going in for something along the lines of like a striker's build, give it another go. Oh, we hit all of them. We've missed a few now. But we're clearly not able to burst it down in time. Maybe if we get a few more stacks on the old strikers. But it's also going to count those shots. But we'll have a go. Oh, we can get him down. Oh, we've broken it. We've broken it though. This is the next thing with the range. It's really buggy. And that's really putting me off. I've now got no idea what's going on. We're building up an army. What's going on now? Because that one's moving as well. No, we've bugged it. The entire range is bugged. Which is probably a really good point of why we don't use the range for any serious testing whatsoever. And it does obviously beg the question, well, what do we actually use the range for? And the simple answer is we're just looking for individual damage numbers. That's basically it. So if I'm using a spreadsheet that says the top damage that I'm able to get on this build is XYZ, I then can confirm it by going to the range and going and just putting a few shots in. If it's something like strikers, obviously I'd have to build the stacks up, but I'm able to see the rate in which the spreadsheet can correspond with the individual damage numbers. I'm not looking at this, couldn't care for this. This is kind of interesting as long as it doesn't bug out. This is utterly useless. The only thing I actually care about is this. What's above my head here. That's all I care about. The rate in which the damage builds up, as well as the individual damage numbers. It's also a pretty handy thing as well, if we use something like Pestilence, we are able to build up our overall performance by using Perfect Unstoppable Force. And then from here, we can just put the target on Invulnerable. Invulnerable Elite because we need the armor. We've got our full stack with Perfect Unstoppable Force in. So all we need to do now is just put a full mag into him. Let him go. And that is our full tick. 1,516,573. That's literally individual damage numbers. Same with Headhunter. That's literally it. That's all we use the range for. So if you're seeing someone, and admittedly I've done it in the past, going, oh yeah, look at the DPS or look at my TTK, bloody. It means nothing. Individual damage numbers, please. If not, get out in the open world. And like I said, one of the few areas that are really good, look, it's there again. It's really good area to check your build. Black Tusk, Elite Territory Control. It spawns there pretty damn regularly, and if it hasn't spawned there for you, all you need to do is log out. The original Elite Territory Control that I did in this video was on Character 2. This is Character 1, so I'm just going to go to Character 3. The moment you log in, it will be there. It always is there on like a fresh login. It's there pretty damn regularly, and it takes like 20 to 30 minutes. So if you have completed it on one of your characters, just log out and it will be there again. And look, Character 3, it's there. Elite Black Tusk Territory Control. This is one of the best places you can use to test your build. It's very consistent. It gives you rushers, chungers, warhounds. Yeah, it's very, very useful. 100% use this, not whatever the hell is on the range. Have fun, good luck, don't die. It's bad for the health.